You mentioned your wife a couple of times today. You're married to a Playboy model who won Queen of the Earth or something.
Queen of the world,
Queen of the world.
Mrs. Queen of the world. I could cry.
Mrs.
I could cry thinking about it again.
Mrs. Queen of the world. What's the story of how you started dating her?
Yeah, I mean, look, for me, it was, I had, in that beginning moment of like really living with intention, and I decided like, okay, I am someone that believes they are meant to be with someone forever, build a family. And so for me, I truly like, decided what I needed to do was change who I was. But in this era, like I decided like you have to become the person that the person you want to be with forever will respect and be with, who become the person that they would want to be with, essentially. And then I went on like a journey of absolutely like not hooking up with chicks, telling all my friends like, hey, like I'm just waiting when I when she appears, I'm going to be ready. Like I'm going to be able to tell her I've been waiting, haven't hooked up with anybody, like waiting. And I'm at the 9-month mark, I'm like saw her Playboy thing and was like, this is my wife. Right. And of course you're saying, well, of course, like everybody says that when they see, they see this beautiful, stunning girl in Playboy. They're like, oh, of course. Right. So I was immediately, this is my wife. Right. And when I pictured like, okay, this is perfection from a beauty standpoint, but she had this interview where she talked about, she wanted to swim with sharks. She wanted to pet a tiger. And I thought to myself, well, shoot, I've been attacked by both of those. This right here, this is destiny, right? So I DM her, right? And we start talking in DM, and I say, hey, I think I could be a great life coach for you because you want to swim with sharks and pet a tiger. I've actually been attacked by both of them on purpose. And so we begin to talk, and, I'm already, I haven't even talked on the phone. We're just now moved to text. And so I'm already convinced like this is my wife. Like I did it. Like I changed myself. I changed myself. Like I was patient, and now 9 months later, we are here. Right. Let all my friends know I met her. It worked. The universe provided. Later that week, okay, we're just texting. She tweets about Dayton, Ohio. Right. And I'm like, why did you tweet about Dayton, Ohio? She's like, oh, my brother and mother live there. Right. Now, of course, Dayton, Ohio is where I was born and raised, and my whole family lives. Right. So now I'm like, what? Her mother and brother live in Dayton, Ohio. This is my wife. Okay. And so still haven't even spoke. Still never even spoke on the phone. This is just over text. And, so we decide like, okay, let's get together. I say, you want to get together on Friday? She's like, sure. What do you want to do? I got to be impressive. This is my wife. I got to take it to another level. She had just tweeted, about this kennel that was essentially shutting down, and they were, getting all the puppies away, and all the puppies that people didn't adopt would end up like getting euthanized potentially. Right. And so I said, so my idea was like, hey, let's go and look at some puppies as a first date, right? Is sort of what I wanted to do. But it turns out that was 2.5 hours away. And I'm like, oh man, we can't drive to go do that. So as a joke, I said, what do you think about grabbing a helicopter and flying out to the kennel and rescuing some puppies? And like a half hour later, she's like, great. And I'm like, what? And so I had to go figure out, sort through, and get a helicopter. Still never spoke to her on the phone. And so I was convinced now, okay, this is my wife. And for some reason, for the last 15 years, every person that I like was sort of connected with always had a connection to Hawaii. And so I was convinced I was meant to marry somebody with a connection to Hawaii. And so as I was driving to pick her up, hoping that this wasn't an episode of Catfish, since we never FaceTimed, never even talked on the phone, nothing, I kept telling myself, forget about Hawaii. Forget about Hawaii. Why do you care? Like, she's gorgeous. Like, her parents are from Ohio. Like, this is meant to be. Picked her up. It wasn't a catfish. She got in the car. First question I asked, do you have any connection to Hawaii? And she's like, well, my grandmother lives there right now. My sister lives there with her. And I'm like, perfect. This is my wife. Right. So now I'm like, I'm like, it's not like the deep connection I had hoped for, but good enough. And so we take off, we go and get in this helicopter, and we're flying across California on our way to rescue some puppies. And we just start talking. I'm trying to be impressive and but also I'm like, I got my stuff together, I've really been working on myself to really, whatever, just trying to, not blow it, you know what I mean? But, be cool, but not too cool. And she begins to tell me her background, her story, and, we're just talking. And then she shares with me that she was a Make-A-Wish child, that she had a rare blood disease when she was 10 years old and was given 6 months to live. And so Make-A-Wish granted her a wish, and her final wish was to swim with dolphins. And Make-A-Wish granted her wish and flew her to Hawaii, where she swam with dolphins. And when she swam with those dolphins, she told herself, I'm not going to let myself die. Like, I want to experience stuff like this for the rest of my life. They went back. They offered her an experimental treatment, which ended up putting her in remission and curing her indefinitely. Right. And so for me, right then I was like, whoa, this is my wife, And so as incredible and beautiful as that is, right? Got all the makings of a storybook and an episode of Bachelor all in one. The reality of our relationship and what she gave me is so beyond just that magical story, because what we became and what she gave me was forever. My shifted from looking at what was next and how do I build this business in life, but what does forever look like? Because now I really see who I'm going to build a life with and why I want to realize my potential to realize it for us and want to have a family with. And that became the anchor of what really allowed me to begin to evolve and find the success that I was able to find. And I have never once, in this, 10 years and 8 years of marriage, even wavered on ever trying to continuously do everything to continue to make our relationship better and better and put our lives at the forefront of everything. And when we had kids, put the kids at the front, continue with kids to put our relationship at the front. And, not only have a movie tonight and a breakfast date tomorrow and, Friday night pasta and Saturday with the kids and karate and going to the fair and then martial arts with the kids on Sunday and going to the movie again. It's just my whole life is built around keeping our family and home and relationship at the highest level. And part of that is qualitatively asking her, having a conversation every day, how she feels about the relationship. And yesterday I got a 3. You know what I mean? And it's still a conversation. And I know it was because I shot that day. Then I had these, a couple of heavy, big business meetings that are business calls that were more ad hoc than part of the rhythm, right? Because every day I send her my schedule of what I'm doing that entire day with a love quote. So she has complete visibility on what my day flow is and where we will spend time together, and then ultimately so I don't choose something over her, i.e. when we're supposed to be watching a show together and then I go do this call for 30 minutes because I have to, gets me a 3. But I'm, deeply aware that I'm treading on disrupting the flow of what it is. But, it's I've trailed off into how I support that relationship. But again, it's a beautiful beginning, but ultimately, you don't have an extraordinary relationship and an amazing family and home by just doing it in between all of the other stuff you do. Like, you have to design it with intention, and then you have to continually optimize it, because you're changing, your wife's changing, your kids are changing, your needs are changing. All of this stuff is moving and evolving on this continuous basis. So you have to continually be setting and resetting and optimizing it towards energy, right? Because that, you just want that high energy in your house, between you and your spouse, the people you work with, every interaction that you have. That's really what you're chasing. And on all levels of your life, that requires a continual assessment and optimization, because everything is changing always.
How did you get your wife to buy into this very optimized, objective metrics of a relationship process? Was there ever any issues with trying to get this so operationalized?
Well, I think she sees the benefits of it, right? Like, especially the rhythm of existence and how we even run our household with, and how we, each week we have a family sync with all the assistants and everything, and the rhythm of the house, and how we run grocery systems in here, and just sort of the, first it was 2 dates a week, and then that wasn't enough. Like, she felt like, and she's seen the system like slowly get optimized to where she's happier and feeling more loved and feeling that energy and balance in herself. So she's just seen the output of it, and now the belief has been built, right? And think about it. You don't necessarily I'm not asking her to, hey, send me your rating today. We have a conversation about it. Right. So it's like, I used to try all different types of things of asking her, and then I would email me any notes. Like, then it's like, I don't want to email you. Then it was it was really funny. Like, one year it was like, we started the conversation, and then she would feel that like, it's been a bad streak for like 2 weeks. And I'd be like, no, it's actually only been like 3 days. It feels like 2 weeks. And then she would be like, that data's like, you skewed the data. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, and so then I had to like, then send an email of the number so that it was validated, so that like so that there was no even more,
an independent record of what happened.
That's it. And so, to me, all that did was continue to build belief in the system. But when you think about the beauty of qualitative data, it's just a higher level of awareness, because you've got to spend the time to reflect and ask yourself how you feel about anything in order to pull the insights that you need in order to make it better and evolve it. Right? Because if you just hope it happens naturally, you're never going to guide it or control it. You want to control your evolution. And every part of you and every relationship and everything in your life is evolving. And that's where just asking yourself and using that qualitative awareness allows you to reflect. Because you have to reflect in order to even assess something, to decide what should I change or evolve to even make it better, right? And most people forget about like being disciplined to work out or eat right. Now you haven't worked out for a week, you feel terrible, you look at yourself in the mirror, you're mad at yourself, so you have a glass of wine because you had a long crazy day and end up binging Netflix till 10:30, then get a bad night's sleep, then wake up late. Now I got to get all this stuff done. It's like you're just fighting through all of that, let alone trying to get to some reflective insight that's going to evolve you and make you better. You never even take the time to be like, okay, what can I do to get out of this rut? You know what I mean? What can I change in my overall life? That has to be the core operating sort of piece of your flow in order to continually and rapidly get better and better at becoming the ideal version of yourself.
What's happening, people? If you enjoyed that, then press here for the full, unedited episode. And don't forget to subscribe. Peace.